Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and I am so, I'm at this point in my life where I am trying to make my weekends just full and jam-packed and exciting, because I feel like, I'm trying to do more things. I think it is part of the sun coming out, part of spring, part of having more energy and wanting to do more things. And so we already have a ton of weddings this year. Garrett and I, it seems like all of our friends, our family members, everyone is getting married this year, which is insane. But that takes some of our Saturdays away, right? Where we are planning for the wedding or making sure we're ready for the wedding or getting there. No joke, guys, we have 11 weddings. So our actual Saturday is kind of wasted. Not wasted because of course we love these people, we love these weddings, but wasted in the way that we don't get to do what we want to do. It's it's got this big plan already. So we have been trying to implement more fun during the weekdays and also doing something Friday night. So we've invited friends over, we have gone places, we've gone out, and we're really taking the Friday night thing to an extent, we're taking it, right? And in college, Friday nights weren't as cool as Thursday nights, because Thursday nights, it was before people went home for the weekend. So Thursday was when you usually have your big social gathering. College is so different than, a regular 8 to 5 job. So there's some difference in that, but Friday nights weren't a big thing. It just wasn't. Sometimes Saturday darties were a big deal, but Friday night, usually we stayed in. I guess my friend group did. Friday night is not the time that we went out. I didn't do a lot of dating in college, so Garrett and I started dating pretty early in my college career, so we were pretty, I guess we didn't really go on dates on Friday nights. That just wasn't part of our generation, I guess. I really don't think it's a generational thing, but maybe it is, because my mom and dad, when they went, dad would come and pick her up on Friday nights, and then they'd go to the movies, they'd go to Golden Corral, whatever. It was a thing, right? It was, Friday nights were a day to do something. You're off for the week, you're off to the weekend, you're done with work, whatever. People usually want to get a little crazy. They want to go and do things. So we have been taking that to heart and are trying to do things on Friday as well, where we are inviting people over, or we're having something, we're doing something, we've planned something. And honestly, it has been so much fun. It has been a lot of fun. We've had bonfires, and it really has felt like our weekend has been extended, because we're doing something Friday night, and doing something Friday night makes it kind of special, right? Your regular work week date, you might not be having something planned on that, a Wednesday night, because you have to get up the next morning, so you don't want to stay up too late, so where you don't have energy the next day. But it's just a different feeling throughout. Friday nights, it's just a different feeling. Growing up, our Friday nights were movies. We watched a movie on Friday night. We had pizza on a Friday night. It was a thing. But our Friday nights, especially this past fall and winter, it has felt just a regular weekday night, right? And the weekend doesn't really start until Saturday morning, but that has been shifted into, okay, like Friday night, that is the start of the weekend. We're doing something, we're going somewhere, we're inviting someone over, we're having an event, we're doing something, because we have to fit it in. Our Saturday is filled by someone else's event. So we're trying to have more fun. We're trying to do more things. At springtime, you get more energy, you want to do stuff, you want to plan things. We've had a bonfire already. Like, it's been fun. Okay, it's been fun. We've seen friends that we haven't seen in a really long time. We've done things that we haven't done for a while, and it has felt so energizing and exciting. And I feel like this, honestly, like a shot of energy, right? Like it just feels like, oh my gosh, like here we are, it's been injected, and we are going, we are running, we are doing. It has been so much fun. It has. This past week though, I just felt a little run down. I don't know if you can tell, I kind of have like a little bit of sinus pressure. My allergies, they're kicking my butt. They are kicking my butt. And I honestly, like, I wasn't feeling it. And we had made plans to have some people over, having another fire, and then the plans shifted a little bit, and that's okay. Plans shift all the time. But the plan was now to go to our friend's house and then go downtown. I was not in the mood. I did not have the energy. And I talked to Garrett. I was like, hey, like, because this is his friend group. This is his friends. And I want to be a good partner. I don't ever want to hold him back, and I know it's vice versa, right? And I was like, hey, if you want me to rally, I can rally. If you want me to put on some jeans, put on some makeup, to be in a good ass mood, I will fake it. I will. I can do it. I can put on a happy face. I can get out there, and I can fake it if you really want me to. I will. I'm willing. I'm always willing to fake it and to put on a smile, because it's kind of bummy if you make plans and then someone bails, right? Like, I didn't want to take away from his happiness, his joy, his Friday night. And he was like, you know what, Logan, like, it's okay. You can stay home. It's not a big deal. I will need you to pick me up later. I was like, all right, I can do that. And so I stayed in. This is the second time, I guess since like February to April, we've been really trying to jam pack our Fridays and do things. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the second time I've failed. Like, and I kind of felt a little bad, but he assured me, he was like, everything is fine. Like, go ahead, do what you need to do. It's all right. Like, I understand, like, you've had a long week, you've had some allergies, you're going through it, like, it's fine. And I was like, okay, like, it's fine. I'm not going to be letting anybody down, and I am taking that needed time for myself to relax, to recuperate, so then I can have a better Saturday, right? Because if I had gone out Friday night, if I would have rallied, if I would have, gone full force and, had a good time, I would have stayed up late, I would have been tired, and I wouldn't have had a better Saturday, right? Like my energy would have been even lower. I probably would have taken a very long nap, and honestly, like this past Saturday, I had things to do. And I really wanted my Saturday to be as productive and as self-care as possible, like as much self-care as possible. And so I was like, you know what, like I have not really been doing anything for myself. I've been doing a lot for everyone else, and I've just felt a little run down. I know it's partly due to my allergies and partly from being on my period this week, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like my social battery is empty. My doing things is empty. Like I cannot do it. And when your cup is empty, it doesn't pour anymore. Like you can't wring water from a rock, right? Like you can try and try, but if it's not there, you're not going to get it. And so I just made it okay that I was going to stay home and I was going to do nothing. I didn't do anything. I didn't even watch TV. I lied. Okay, I tried to turn TV on and then I turned it off and I took a nap. And I was kind of afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to fall asleep on accident or purposely, and I'm not going to be able to wake up and pick Garrett up from the bars. Like, oh my gosh. And so I set like several alarms and I set a timer. But I laid on the couch and I took a nap from 10 to 1 o'clock. It was great. I went and picked Garrett up. I ran him through a fast food joint. We came home. It was great. Went to bed and I felt rested and I felt like my social battery was better. Because we have been running, and I mean, last weekend was Easter, the weekend before we had our first wedding, the weekend before we had friends over, the weekend before that we had my parents over. Like, it's the start, okay? I know that our spring, summer, and fall are crazy packed, and then here come the holidays. I knew this. 2023 is a doing year. We're doing it all. We are packing it in. There are events. We are doing this. We're doing that. And when you have such a full schedule and you are running and you're doing this and that and everything for everyone, this is the time where you need to be focused on your self-care the most. I know I need to be focused on my self-care or I'm going to not be well. I will be unwell. Okay. I need to make sure that I am putting myself first in my health and my energy and my passions and the things that will ultimately bring me the most happiness and not lead me to hate my life, okay? Because if you have the lack of self-care, who's caring for you? Who's taking care of you? And I mean, Garrett can absolutely pick up my slack of the household, right? Like he has his chores that he does. I do my chores. I know that if something wasn't done, like Garrett would be able to pick it up and do it, except for make the bed. He never makes the bed. It's alright. So that would be the only thing he wouldn't do. Like our bed would be unmade. It's alright. That's one thing. I know that he would pick up the slack for everything else. And if I really asked, he would make the bed. But he would do that. But he cannot go inside my brain and he cannot make the self-care in my brain. He cannot do the things for me that need to be done in my head, right? We need to be making sure that our mental wellness is first priority, that we are doing things that are going to take care of us and make us feel safe and make us feel nurtured, and really stepping into that caregiving side of ourselves where we can feel protected. And I knew that if I had gone out, if I had pressed the issue, if I had rallied, faked it, whatever you want to call it, I know that I ultimately would not feel good about the situation later. That I would feel that I shouldn't have done it, right? Like you would have this regret. Yes, I would have had like a good time because I am a good time, but it's still, I would have felt a little bit resentful that I had to perform for someone else. Not that Garrett made me, but it would be like, oh my gosh, like I had to be happy for these people to make sure that that relationship was good. Because I mean, just because I'm in a shitty attitude doesn't mean I need to push my, bad attitude on other people. So I was like, you know what, like, then I would feel resentful that I have to talk to this person and like be nice to them when I just want to be hateful, right? Like sometimes we just want to feel mean. We just want to feel sad, or we want to feel angry. And that's okay to like feel those emotions and to process them. And I just really felt like the week wasn't my time. Like I did not get to do anything that I wanted to do, that I was stressed. And when you feel this way, usually not because you're doing too much of everything else, but it is because you're doing too little of the things that make you happy. You're doing too little of the stuff that brings you joy. They're called like glimmers, right? Like little glimmers in your life, where it ignites your passion again, where it inspires you, where you feel super, super committed and happy and excited, and you bring the energy and you're on fire. You know these moments when you are feeling so freaking good and everything is in alignment and it's just working out for you. Like those moments are so, so good, and they help us like bridge the gap between the moments where we are feeling not so good and low energy, and we feel like our time isn't ours, and we feel like we're not doing enough. And it usually all boils down to not doing enough of the self-care, not doing enough of the things that bring you joy or bring you happiness, or just for fun, like, and being bad at it. You can try to paint, you can draw, you can try to do some yoga, you can run, whatever that hobby is to you. Like, you don't have to be good at it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to monetize it. It does not matter what it is, but it just needs to bring you happiness. And in this moment, it was going to be laying on the couch. It was going to be going to bed early. Sometimes you just got to take yourself to bed early. Oh my gosh, like send yourself to bed. If you're going to be a hateful little brat, like go to bed because you're going to feel so much better in the morning, right? Like you're going to feel so much better in the morning. And you're going to come from a place of rest, right? And your brain is going to be able to process it, and you're going to feel so much better than if you had acted in the moment. And sometimes when there are like really big stressful things happening in your life, the best thing to do is like wait for a response. To wait to the response, process it, and then come back. Sometimes you can wait 12 to 24 to 48 hours before you actually have to come back to the matter. And I also think that this society that we're living in right now, we have to be of access to everyone at any time. Like our phones are connected to us. I mean, I have an Apple Watch, so I'm getting buzzes all the time, cell phones and social media, where people are directly correlated and connected to us at all times. And we are not able to keep some of our time private unless we're being super, super intentional with that time, unless we are shutting off our devices and shutting off the TV and going outside, or even putting our phone on do not disturb. I think that doing this can be so good. One, because it doesn't show that you're ignoring that person. Like it will tell them, hey, like Logan is currently on do not disturb. So when you send a text, it's not going to notify her. And that kind of puts the pressure off of you, because they're not overthinking, oh my gosh, like I sent this message to Logan like hours ago, like why hasn't she replied yet? Instead, it's like, oh, I saw that it's do not disturb. I bet she put her phone somewhere and she hasn't like picked it up, hasn't read it, hasn't seen it, whatever. And that can be so powerful. So I literally Friday night put my phone on do not disturb. I sat on the couch. I did literally nothing, but it was the choice to do nothing. It was the choice to rest. It was the choice to just hang out and relax and kind of shut my brain off. And I feel like I have been just trying to be on and trying to help everyone with everything. And honestly, like I'm not trying to be a martyr, but I needed a break. You ever feel like that? You ever feel like you just need a break and you're like, oh my gosh, like I need some self-care. I've not been doing the things that are helping me, and I have not been taking care of myself. I know it. I know I haven't been taking care of myself because it's in my energy. It's in my happiness levels. It is in everything that you do. And when you don't take care of yourself, when you're not putting yourself first and you are allowing it to go by the wayside, that's not sustainable. You literally will burn out. You won't be at your highest performing self if you are not taking care of yourself. You just can't. You cannot be 100% sparkly like you if you're not taking care of yourself. Point blank, like period. That's it. Like you cannot be at the top if you are not putting yourself first. And this can mean like your thoughts to yourself, like what you're saying to yourself. Because if you're like, oh my gosh, like you look so dumb in this outfit, or your eyeliner is crooked, you're so dumb. Whatever it is, whatever self-talk that you give yourself and it's tearing you down, like if you can change that and be like, oh my gosh, like you're looking good, that's a form of self-care. Like speaking kind words to yourself is a form of self-care. Taking a little extra time to like curl your hair. Like today I blew dry my hair. Like I look so happy because my hair is blow dried. I still look tired. I still look like my allergies are kicking my ass, but at least my hair is done, right? Like at least I took the time, I showered, I put like some conditioner in there. Like I used that time as self-care. I took care of myself. I took a shower. You can take the shower sitting down. You can stand up in the shower, lie down in the shower, whatever it takes, right? Like showering, perfect time for some self-care. Brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, taking care of things, you know, cleaning your kitchen, making yourself like a nice breakfast. Like that's all forms of self-care. Drinking some water, put it in a nice glass, maybe with some lemon. That's a form of self-care. And I mean, it does not have to be big. You know the things that make you feel happy. You know the things that you do that will make it feel better, right? Like I personally love to be out in my garden. I bought a shit ton of plants this week. I feel like shopping is a form of self-care for me because I go out and I buy things when I'm a little stressed. Some people say it's bad, some people say it's good, but it's up for interpretation. I personally I like to shop when I'm feeling bad because it makes me feel in control, right? Like I'm curating my life. I have been picking up small things here and there for myself as a form of self-care. Instead of using Garrett's razor that I've been using for the past, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, I went and bought my own razor. Now, you might be thinking that's kind of gross, using Garrett's razor. I don't care. We're married. It's fine. But I went and got my own pink razor, and now like when I'm shaving my legs, I feel that form of self-care. I'm taking care of myself. I got girly shaving cream. That's a form of self-care. Here I am lathering this shaving cream on my legs and shaving my legs with my pink razor. Form of self-care. It doesn't have to be big. It can be the smallest little thing, but it's like a little wink to yourself. When you set your environment up, when you set your life up for these little winks, if you will, of self-care, where it's like, oh, like, someone was so sweet and put some shaving cream in my shower. Like, I did that for me because I love me. Getting yourself flowers, that's a small wink. Sending yourself flowers at work, a small wink. Oh my gosh, like, here I am, bought myself flowers, secret admirer, who? Like, it's all about you. And I personally want to be doing more small things for myself and just like taking care of myself in a way that makes me happy because I've been putting it off. I literally have been oh, this is so bad. So my skincare, I love to take care of my skin. I get a facial every single month except for the month of March. I skipped my facial and my laser hair appointment because I didn't schedule the time. I did not put it in my calendar. If you want to see anybody's priorities, check their calendar. Whatever is in their calendar, that is their priority because they made time for it. They literally made space in their day, in their life to go and do it. So you know that's a priority for them. I didn't schedule it. I did not schedule it. So I skipped out on a facial. And I also, not only did I skip out on a facial, I ran out of bee oil from the Ordinary brand. I love Ordinary, it's so good. But I ran out of bee oil for the month of March and I didn't have any bee oil. Now I was washing my face. I have this like niacinamide or something plus zinc. And I mean, it's for brightening. I was using that I was using caffeine drops under my eyes, but I didn't have any bee oil. And making like oil for your skin is so good, especially because I am combination to dry. I want to age gracefully. I want to put some, oil on my face, help the elasticity of my skin. I want to make sure that it is being taken care of. And I did not go to my facial, and I did not have my bee oil. I was literally, I had this, it's like Epilage or something like that. I got it from my facialist, and it is a face mask essentially, but she said I could wear it every day. So I was just smearing that on underneath some sunscreen. It wasn't my full routine. It wasn't my full routine at all. But I mean, it was a little self-care because at least I was putting something on my skin. But I didn't take the time to buy myself some bee oil or schedule my freaking skincare appointment. What the hell? Like, that's not taking care of myself. That is not making myself a priority. That is not helping my long-term goals. I always go back to like self-care. And ultimately, if you're not doing self-care, you're not like focusing on your long-term goals, because you can only accomplish your long-term goals if you are taking care of yourself. You cannot accomplish anything long-term if you're not taking care of yourself. You will burn out, you will spiral, and you won't be achieving it until you take a second look at yourself and say, oh, like, how can I change this? How can I pivot a little bit so that I can actually achieve it? And usually you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta give yourself a little extra love, a little extra time to actually accomplish and complete it. So for me, myself, I was like, ooh, like I need to call and schedule my appointment. So this week, when this episode is going out, I have my facial and I have my laser hair removal scheduled for next week. I put it on the calendar. I am definitely sometimes I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm very impromptu, but it's usually only after weeks and months of overthinking it. Like, once I've made a decision, I want it immediately. Okay, so that's where like the kind of impromptu, I already said that. I'm trying to think of another word to say it, but essentially like when I want it now. It might have taken me 2 weeks, 2 months to come to that conclusion, but once I'm to that conclusion, I want it, and I want it now. That's not always good. Sometimes it doesn't always happen. But for me, I was like, oh my gosh, like I have not scheduled a facial. I need to schedule it immediately. I need to get on the calendars. And of course, like they were booked, and I had to schedule it 3 weeks out. Like I had to schedule it 3 weeks out. And that's okay. Like it's okay. Sometimes for your self-care, you need to put a little planning in place. You gotta be thinking futuristically. You have to be thinking, okay, for us, right? Like we have all these weddings. So what can I implement for my Saturdays to make sure that I am still having a good time, that I'm having my self-care, that I'm taking care of myself? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna schedule my facial for this week, and then when I go to get my facial, I'm scheduling it for the next month. Okay, so like the month of May, I'm gonna put it on the calendar so that it's a priority. I'm actually gonna get it done. My skin is so important to me. Aging well is so important to me. I've been using cold cream. I've been doing stuff to my skin and focusing on it since I was 14. Okay, like my skin is very important to me, and taking care of it is so important to me. And here I did not practice self-care, and I did not make it a priority for the past month because I wasn't doing too much, because it was the same workload, right? Like it's the same workload that I've had. It's just that I wasn't doing enough things that were fun. I wasn't doing enough things that brought me joy, brought me life, brought me excitement, happiness, all the things. I was doing see, I don't want to say I was doing too much, because we're never doing too much, right? Like, we are never doing as much as we think we're doing, but it's sometimes a lack of, like, we're not doing enough of the things that make us happy, in comparison to, oh my gosh, we're working too much, we're doing this too much. Usually we're not ever doing that too much. It's usually when we're doing too little, when we aren't doing any of that fun self-care. So I need to put it in my calendar. I need to actually make myself a priority and schedule things out. The next thing that I did to practice more self-care, because I was like, all right, like I haven't been feeling like 100% like beautiful. I haven't been feeling 100% sparkly or confident or any of those things that make me, right? Like I haven't felt like I've been taking care of myself. So I've been going through my closet, and I have brought more color into my closet. I have, experimented with different styles. I've brought just more fun clothing, and I'm trying to focus on more fun, and I'm trying to focus on present. I'm trying to be where my feet are, and I think because I'm such like a big planner, I'm focused too much on the future and kind of reflecting on the past, and I'm not fully enjoying where I am right now in this moment. And I feel like being present is equal to self-care, right? Like when we are present and in the moment and fully enjoying the things, that's self-care, because we aren't anxious about the future, or we're not worried about our past. We're just content with the present and where we are at and what we are doing, and that is when we can feel the most joyful. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I just need to be focused on me. I need to be doing the things that make me happy and that bring me joy, and not worry about, we're all going to have things in life that we don't want to do. We're always going to have something that isn't always the most fun. Even if it is our complete dream job, dream life, there's always going to be something that we might not enjoy as much, right? That's life. Like we're always going to have that. But you can overcrowd that thing with other things that are going to make it more fun. Personally, eating healthy is not always fun. Making sure that we're having proper nutrients and square meals every single day, that's not always fun. And we could want to eat cheesecake or go out to a sushi restaurant, like whatever, like those things are happy and they make us feel good, but they're not always good long term. And so like eating healthy, that's not always going to be the funnest. And that even if you have the most perfect life, you want the perfect body with that perfect life, and we have to be nourishing our body with healthy whole foods and taking care of ourselves. That might not be fun, right? Like there's always going to be something we don't necessarily want to do, but it's bringing the joy in those things. So eating healthy, I personally, that's something I want to do. That's like part of my happy big life, but it's not always fun. It's not always convenient. So I have to chop vegetables. I have to make it look pretty, right? Like all the carrots and the celery and the tomatoes and like the vegetables, I can make that artistic. I really like to like put them in sections. So I'll put like the carrots and then the celery and then the tomatoes and sometimes like I'll throw a fruit like strawberries, grapes, or blueberries in there. I know those aren't vegetables, but I'll put them together, and that can bring the joy, and that can bring me love and self-care when I'm packing my lunch. It can be fun, like, oh, like I'm just gonna pick something up from the coffee shop, whatever, but that ultimately is, yes, coffee brings me joy, but better self-care would be to get enough sleep, to have enough nutrients to give me energy, and to pack my lunch. Those are better forms of self-care. Even though I want that coffee, why am I drinking my coffee? because the coffee shop is convenient, because they're always open, because I can just skip down there for my lunch break and I don't like, I mean, coffee is an appetite suppressant. I'll have a muffin, like it'd be great. But better self-care would be packing myself a lunch, to arrange my vegetables in a way that are so aesthetically pleasing, and to have it packed and ready for me so I'm not stressed out, right? Like that's a form of self-care. And just like overall, taking care of yourself does not have to, like, it doesn't have to take up too much time or energy. It can be these small little things. I, this past weekend, have been watching, it's kind of an old movie. It's called Julia and Julie. It's about Julia Childs. She is like a renowned cook, chef, whatever. But it's this really, really cute movie, and I was watching it this past weekend. And Julia Childs, she's in France. She is from America and she is living in France with her husband, and she wants to, have something to do with her time. She doesn't want to be just one of those boring housewives. She wants to have a purpose. She wants to feel fulfilled, and she wants to cook for herself. That's a form of self-love. She did not care about what anybody else thought of her. She took a cooking class full of men, and the head gal who ran like the classes did not want her to pass. Julia Child started in a class about boiling eggs. She's like, I know how to boil an egg. I want to be in the class that is more than that. That is going to be invigorating. That is going to challenge her. And she was put in a class with all men. And here she is, like, one of her first days. I hope this isn't a spoiler. I recommend you go and watch it on Netflix. It's so cute. But it's been out for a while. Like, I remember when it came out when I was a kid, like in middle school. Middle school, I would say. Because I remember my parents watching it and thinking, oh, like, it's a little slow. Like, it's a little slow. But at this point in my life, it was like hitting. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is hitting so hard right now. But in the class, they were like chopping an onion, and she was like almost afraid of the knife. Like she wasn't holding it properly. And those chefs, they chop onions so fast. And so obviously, like, she felt a little intimidated. I think all of us would feel a little intimidated. You ever see Ratatouille? And both of these are movies, but the boy who's like trying to cook, he's chopping the onion like rather slow, and she's like, what do you think? This is your mama's kitchen? Like, let's go, like chop it fast. It was similar vibes here. So she's like not chopping properly, and all these men are chopping. She gets angry. She comes home and she has like this mountain of chopped onion. She was making it perfect. It did not matter what anybody else thought. She was going to do the self-care. She was going to cook because it made her happy. And this entire movie, even though it was like slow, and it was, I'm a sucker for rom-coms. I love romantic comedies. This was a movie about falling in love with yourself. And I feel like that has been a struggle for me. And I've always been, instead of just being happy with who I am right now in this moment, I've almost punished myself, as in I haven't fully enjoyed where I'm at. Instead, I have thought, where can we go? What can we improve on? How can we chase after the next thing? Which will always be a part of me. I love goal chasing. But I also think it's good to love where you're at as well, and to be so grateful for where you're at. And I haven't done a very good job of loving myself completely, or allowing myself to just enjoy and to just be present and to just practice that self-care and that self-love. Because self-care is loving yourself enough to bring yourself the things that you need, to put yourself in the same spot that you would a loved one. And I don't always do a good job of that. I am much kinder to other people than I am to myself, and maybe you feel the same way, where you are always the first one of your friends to encourage them to take that big leap or to chase after their dreams, maybe to your siblings, your parents, your friends, your family, whoever. And you don't show the same kindness to yourself or the same encouragement. Or like, I always think about, especially like I have 2 nieces and a nephew, and then I think about them like practicing things, and we don't yell at children when they trip and fall. We don't yell at them for not knowing how to do it all in this moment. So why should we do that to ourselves? Why should we put so much pressure on ourselves to accomplish or do anything, or to be something, or to have the energy when we don't feel it, or to be anything that we're not in that moment? And I think self-care is being true to your feelings and true to yourself. And this movie was so cute. It was, I truly think it was about self-love and self-discovery. And when you're in the moods where you're like, oh my gosh, like nothing is going right. Like I was feeling hateful Friday. I was feeling downright hateful. I was not very nice. And I was like in a glum mood. Like I just was. I needed to do more that brought me life. I needed to do more things that brought me pure joy, pure happiness for no reason. And like, I just was watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, like how fun. Saturday morning, I went to spin class. This is something that I've been doing. I still love my Pilates. I still like lifting weights. I still love to run. I love to do all these things. But I think having like a balance of all of them and not necessarily have to do like one thing all the time. But I scheduled a spin class on Friday night. When I was laying on the couch, I was like, you know what, like I want something to look forward to tomorrow that is just for me, that's going to bring me pure joy, that's going to bring me happiness. And I scheduled the spin class and I went. It was a 9:30 class. I got myself a coffee because in this moment it was self-care. Having a coffee, it wasn't because I didn't pack myself lunch and this was a substitute. This was, oh my gosh, like it's morning, like this is an event, this is happy, like this is for you, girl, like this is for you. And so I went and got coffee and I wore my bright red leggings. If you watched last week's podcast episode on YouTube, you saw my red leggings. They're cute. Oh, by the way, we put all of these on YouTube. So if you want to watch the podcast instead of just listening, go check us out, Golden Hour Drip, and subscribe, okay? But yeah, I was wearing my red leggings. I felt so hot. I was wearing like my little sports bra, my little jacket. I had my hair up, and I literally, the spin class, I just got chills. Like I literally got chills because I was immediately transported back into that moment and that energy and that feeling. And it was just for me. It was just this happiness for me. It to make me feel good, to make me feel cared for. I was doing something that was making me happy. I was moving my body. I was listening to the best jams ever. And I was just, you couldn't help but smile. I was smiling. I wanted to cry because it felt so good. Like, it felt so good. And it was just for me. I don't have to be good at it. I absolutely don't have to be good at it. I will say I've been improving since my last one. It was my third class that I had taken. So I'm definitely improving. I'm getting better all the time. But it was just for me. It was that form of self-care because why not? Like, it was a blast. It was something just for me. I don't have to be good at it, and I can do it by myself. I don't need anybody else to come, even though I think Garrett would enjoy it. I really do. Hopefully he'll come one time. I think it'll be fun, but I don't know. Maybe it's just cardio. Like cardio makes your blood pump. It gives you a high. That's why you have the runner's high. Like it felt good. It really did. So I've been trying to sprinkle more things into my day that bring me joy, that bring me some sort of self-care, that have, it just makes you smile, right? Like I love to shop. I love to read books. I love to move my body. And so I've just been trying to sprinkle more of that in my day to day. Whether it's a pink razor, skincare. I finally did. I went and I got skincare. I stopped at Ulta after my little spin session, and I got, they didn't have bee oil, but I got the, oh my gosh, they have like rosehip oil. So I got the rosehip oil, and I got some other skincare. I can't remember in this moment, but I got like a few things, okay? Because you can't just buy one thing. But also I got some whey. I've never, not whey, it was not whey. Oh my gosh. I got, oh, it's so, Olaplex. Oh my gosh. That's another form of self-care. Because I'm on the edge, guys. I'm on the edge of cutting my hair, just chopping it off. They say that where you are right now is where you were in 2016. However, the dang moons are aligned or whatever. Believe it if you want. I don't know. I take it with a grain of salt. But I was thinking, oh my gosh, like if that's true, if I'm where I'm at in 2016, like where I am now, like the moons are in the same spot or whatever, I'm like, oh gosh, like I chopped my hair off, and I had just been thinking that I wanted to chop my hair off, and then it popped up in my memories and it was like, oh look, here is you. It was my freshman year of college, and I had just gotten it was like something freshman, it was like a leadership award. I forgot. My hair was short. Oh my gosh, my hair was short. And I was just thinking, you know what, maybe it's right. Like maybe it really is like whatever you were struggling with in 2016, like you'll be struggling with right now. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I chopped off my hair. And so I'm on the edge of actually cutting my hair. So I decided that I am gonna practice some self-care. I'm gonna give it a little bit of extra love. And I got Olaplex. I got number 3, which is like a bonding, it's not a conditioner, but a bonding cream. You put it on for 10 minutes, rinse it out, then shampoo and conditioner. And then I got some bonding oil because I want to just like fully take care of every single part of my hair, because if I don't, I will chop it off, right? I also scheduled a hair appointment, another form of self-care, to give it some highlights, to give it some life. But I, like, my hair feels so soft. It's never felt more soft. My skin, I'm getting a pimple right here for some reason. But other than that, maybe it's a rosehip oil. I don't know. But skincare, hair, like, that's going to make me feel better. Wearing clothes that are happy, like doing some color hacking. I have yellow on today. That's a very happy color. I got a new phone case. Oh my gosh, like this is so exciting. I have had a black phone case for the last two years, and I just switched it out for a purple one, and I got a pop socket because my finger has an indent in it, okay? Like my little pinky finger has an indent from holding my phone up, and I'd like that to heal back, okay? Maybe I've wrecked my finger, but I got a pop socket to help that. It's got a little smiley face on it. It is so freaking cute, but that's like another form of self-care. Like here I am gonna look at my phone, I'm gonna see this little happy face, and I'm gonna smile back, right? Like how can you not smile back at a little smiley face? It's just doing those little things that are gonna bring you the most joy for no reason. Like you don't have to have a rhyme or a reason for why you want to do it or why you think it will bring you joy or happiness or anything. Just do it. Just do it because it's gonna like make you feel joy and embrace every single part of it. But back to Julia Childs. Here she was, like, she did not care what anybody else thinks. Her husband loved her, and that's all that mattered. And it also made me realize, like, Julia Childs, she was old in that movie. Like, I was thinking with Garrett when she started like cooking, like her first cookbook, I can't remember the quote, Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up because I see it all the time where they talk about where people don't have their life or dream together until like a certain age. Here's my phone if you're watching on YouTube. There it is. How cute. I just went and picked it up because I am going to search, when did Julia Childs, if I can spell this, Julia Childs put out her first cookbook? Let's see when this was. Cookbook. Enter. So Julia Childs put out her first cookbook. Did Julia Childs write a cookbook? Yes. How old was she though? How old was she? I didn't put that. I just said when did. I need to say how old. How old was Julia Childs when she, Julia Child, when she put out her first cookbook? Here we go. 49 years old. She was 49. That's literally, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So she enrolled in that school when she was 37 and she didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 49 because it took her 9 years to complete. There you go, folks. So you're not behind. Okay. Sometimes the like stressors of life, we always feel like we should be doing more. I know I always feel like I'm doing more and I'm always trying to like focus on the future and where I want to be. And I feel like sometimes my life has to be completely determined right now in this moment. But it's okay because when I was in middle school, the jobs that they have now weren't even created. Like, isn't that crazy? Like the jobs that people now have did not exist. That's insane. The passions that you might develop might not exist right now, right? Where you are in this moment in time, like it definitely is important for your story. It's definitely important for like your trajectory, but it doesn't have to be like this forever, right? And so what is important is that you are taking care of yourself so you're able to experience that next level. So when you are given that opportunity and that chance, you're ready because you feel good, you feel happy, and you've taken care of yourself. Sometimes we miss opportunities because we are not in the right energy and we are not in the right mindset and we are not where we need to be. So when you can give yourself a little bit more love, when you can give yourself a little bit more happiness and feel like, okay, like I am going to take care of myself because that job, that career, the school, whatever, like you can always change your major. You can always change your job. You can always change where you live or who you're married to or your friendship. You can always change all of those things. But you know what you can't change? You can't change yourself. You can't change your mental health. You can't get a new brain, okay? You can't get a new body. You have to take care of the body you have. You have to take care of the brain you have. You have to take care of yourself because you can't get a new one. You literally cannot get a new one. This body you have, this is the only body you get. This brain you got, that's the only brain you get. So take care of them. This soul inside you, that's the only soul you get. So take care of them. Make sure you're nourishing them. Make sure that you are taking enough time to do the things that make you feel alive, because we are not meant to wake up, go to work, go to school, come home, eat supper, go to bed, spend money on food, go to bed. You know what I'm saying? We are meant to feel alive. We're meant to chase after the things that make us happy, the passions that we could have. Julia Childs literally like cooked she first cookbook at 49. Are you kidding me? Like, she didn't care what anybody else thought. She didn't care at all. She wanted to do something that made her happy and that gave her self-care, because she knew that she would go crazy if she was just a housewife like every other wife. Chase after it. Whatever you want to do, make sure you're prioritizing self-care. Sometimes that looks like staying in on a Friday night. like I did. Sometimes that means booking a fitness class first thing in the morning so you're moving your body and that you can tap into that energy and that inspiration and that happiness. Maybe it is gardening, maybe it's going out, working up the dirt, putting in some really happy flowers, or maybe if you can't have a garden because you live in the city, maybe it's buying these little tiny little plants to put on your windowsill. Whatever it is, buy yourself a pink razor. That's what I did. A little pink razor. Now I'm shaving my armpits and they look so cute with my pink razor. Whatever it is, it can be the smallest little thing. But sprinkle in some self-care winks. Sprinkle it in because it's going to make your week so much better. It's going to make your weekend so much better when you're doing the things that actually bring you a little bit of joy and not just, oh my gosh, like someone else wants me to do this. This is on someone else's timeline. This is the expectation of someone else. When you can sprinkle in these little happiness, these little winks, these little things that like, oh, I did that for myself. Every time I look at my phone, I'm gonna be like, oh, I did that for myself. I made this little pop socket go with this purple case. I know that seems basic, but like I put this together, I curated it for myself. I made my little my back screen to be orange, and then my home screen, it's got little pink butterflies on it. You know, like I curated this for me, so every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, like that's for me, that's happy. Or when I get in my shower and I see my little bonding cream, I'm like, oh, that's for me. You have to make it easy. You have to make it part of your routine for it ever to work. So your self-care, you got to make sure that even when you're in your lowest energy, that's easy to grab. So it doesn't have to be a big production. This past Thursday, I gave myself a pedicure. It did not take me much time at all. I didn't even plan it out, but my cabinets, I've decluttered and made it really simple. I have like a little area for my nail tools. It's easy to grab. So I took off my old nail polish and I did a little pedicure, and I put some scrub on my foot and some lotion. Self-care does not have to be a big production. It just has to be easy. It has to be part of your routine. Go cooking or go grocery shopping for healthy whole recipes or whole ingredients for your recipes, so that when you're ready to experience that sort of self-care where you can make yourself a little meal, you have the ingredients. Make it easy, make it part of your routine, because you're not gonna do it if it's hard. You're not gonna do it if you have to search for your nail clippers and then search for your toenail polish remover, or look for the pasta strainer. Make it easy, make it where your environment goes hand in hand with your self-care, and it's like, oh, like this is a little bit of love for me. My closet is full of now colorful clothes, so if I'm looking for something that makes me feel happy and confident, I'm able to pull it out because it's easy, because I can just grab it. Implementing self-care into your day-to-day life does not have to be a big production. It doesn't have to be this super crazy thing that you have to do. You have to work up a lot of energy, because usually when we are coming from a place of total distraughtment, when we are not feeling it, not feeling good, maybe feeling a little grumpy, we need something easy to pick us back up. We are not going to have the reserves in ourselves to make it a big deal, right? Like we're not going to have it to where we start, I guess, from base level, right? Like we can't just pull it out of our ass, right? We have to have it at a base where we're like, all right, like this is easy to get to. It is easy to implement, to do, and I promise you, if you set your environment up to where it doesn't take that much energy to do it, where it's easy, then your self-care, you're going to be able to implement way more into it. And when you're able to implement more self-care, you're able to come from a higher place of energy and self-love for yourself. And that can truly make a difference when you are wanting to then move to the next level. It'll help you stay present, but also that self-care will help ensure that when that next opportunity comes along, you're able to take full advantage of it and capture it and then move forward even more. So I hope this episode was helpful. If you liked it, please give me a 5-star rating, nothing less than 5 stars, please, and share it to a friend that you might feel could use a little bit of self-care inspiration. If you haven't already, subscribe to our email list. Just click the link down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!